that means.
I forgot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of a podcast named Tim. We're a father and son movie review podcast, and today we're going to be taking our ass to Mars because we are doing The War of the Worlds, the original, Total Recall, the original. So two movies that have been remade, but we're doing the originals, and available everywhere audio are. So if you have Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, etc., please leave a rating and review on your audio platform. And of course, we are on YouTube as well, where we have additional movie reviews, Power Ranger discussions, Star Wars, wonderful things as well, and a video of this podcast if you want to take us. For whatever reason you would want to do that. We also have websites, podcast named Tim.com, and are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, podcast named Tim. Zach, Dad, how are you today, good sir?
I'm doing fantastic, except for I'm kind of looking like the villain from Sonic.
That's okay. I'm digging it. What product are you using for the beard?
I'm using Stash Bomb.
And so what do you do?
Stash Bomb.
It's not a cream. It's like a wax thing.
It's a wax.
And you train.
You just put it in, and you just use your little mustache thing, and you just play around a lot and going.
And you do that every day.
Well, I've just now kind of started with the wax here.
Okay.
To get it grown out a little bit.
I've been doing the oil and the cream in the beard to make it look all nice.
Right.
So, gonna grow it all up.
I just want to tie a little bit to the track. And after that, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Well, other than these two lovely movies, what have you been watching this week?
I just got done watching.
And what is that?
Invincibles.
Oh yeah, on Amazon Prime, right?
Just watched the first episode. I was digging. It was good. Then at the end, it got fantastic. I just watched the first episode. That's all for.
Okay.
So, I think I'm in a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, JJ.
Let's see, I can adjust that a little bit. Our guy's off today. Our audio and visual guy. Yes, that was really cool. Alex and I both enjoyed it, and he actually, as he was exiting, said, "Hurry up and record this thing so we can watch another one." So,
okay.
There's only 3 out right now. I think it's every Friday.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what season is, but very, very good.
Very, very good. Well, good.
You always promised me with Archer, an adult cartoon that I couldn't get into, but maybe since I'm getting on the ground level of this one, maybe because Archer I was trying to catch up, and I don't know. But anyway, yes.
Well, I watched a film called Shaolin Fox Conspiracy. It has another name, which is Dagger Jade Ninja. Those are the two names it goes by.
All right. And
I recorded a review of it last night. It's going to be on the YouTube next week. But it's a great bad B movie. Had a guy with a flute who was stabbing people. It had a wedding. It had a trail. It had, the whole point of the movie is there is this purple jade badger that has been made. It's like a little trinket. And if you can find it, which one of the people has, and open it up, drink the elixir in it, basically you're going to have like super kung fu. And there's a nymphomaniac in this film who uses their sexuality to lure in men. There's scams. There's decent kung fu for a bad movie. I thought it was great. Shaolin Fox Conspiracy, free on Amazon Prime. Definitely worth your time.
Dope.
Yeah. What? Anything else? I'm ready for movies. I don't know about you.
Nothing I can. We did watch that. Oh, we watched that yesterday, last night.
What did you think of yesterday?
It was all right. Geez, there was something else that we watched. But of course, I can't think of it. So I don't know.
Okay.
Just continuing on with Chicago PD.
I never got your opinion on Dynamite Episode 4, New Recruits.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, I was just curious.
I gathered intel through listening to you, but other than that, I'm not. Okay, this lighting is really ticking me off.
It's not that bad.
Maybe on your side, I'm like.
Maybe it's these fancy glasses I got now.
Maybe.
I can take in the glare. But that's all right.
It's not a glare. It's just I'm like all light colored or no. Anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and hop into the movies then. We're going to start with The World of the Worlds. And then we'll do Total Recall first. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick moment to pause and hear a word from our sponsor. So, The War of the Worlds has a G rating, came out in 1953, a 1 hour and 25-minute runtime, directed by Byron Haskin, stars Gene Barry and Ann Robinson, and has a 7.1 on IMDb. And on the Rotten Tomato meter, it has an 88 and a 71 from the audience score. It is, of course, the infamous H.G. Wells book that has been converted into originally a radio play and then, of course, into movies. Basically, the Martians are invading. That's the plot of the movie. And I had never seen War of the Worlds. I've seen a couple minutes of the Tom Cruise remake.
Well, I've seen all of that.
Whenever I think of these movies, I think of The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's kind of the first, big invasion film. What did you? This was my selection. What did you think of The War of the Worlds?
It was all right. It was a little too preachy for me.
Really?
Yeah.
In what regard?
The whole preachy religious aspect of it at the end, blah 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 blah.
Well, it's fascinating you say that because I thought one of the things that this movie suffered from was one of the cornerstones of science fiction, which is you need to have something competent and important to say about human society. And I thought that it didn't even try other than, hey, look, church.
Well, that's kind of, if you listen to it too, a lot of the rhetoric was.
Well, do you know why that's interesting?
Do I know why it's interesting?
Yes.
I didn't find it interesting.
No, do you know why it's interesting that it has such a religious overtone?
Why is that?
Because H.G. Wells was an atheist.
Well, just.
Yeah. But I will say I thought that the movie looked great. Loved all the effects. The character, the alien design left something to be desired, but the actual effect of it looked good.
That was kind of neat the way they floated around.
Well, when they got out of the ship.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, I thought the effects were great, and I thought the sounds were great. This looked and sounded like a science fiction movie should look and sound from the musical aspect and just like the lasers and all the other little background pieces. Those were all excellent. I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone who has a problem with signs, I hope that you also lodge the same complaints at this. Because, everyone always says about science, why'd they come to a planet with water if they couldn't stop water?
Right.
How did these Martians come to a planet where they couldn't take the disease?
Right.
I audibly booed the end of this movie. Sitting by myself, I just booed because it was lazy. It was late. We didn't, and I understand. I get the point. Is we've lost all hope. We couldn't do anything. and it's serendipitously, we happen to get saved. But there was very little foreshadowing of that. They had that one scene where they did the microscopic thing, and they're like, "Oh, it's blood cells," were blah 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 blah. The issue was it just ended out of nowhere. It was very very anticlimactic. And we got the explanation of the ending via narration. Don't end your movie. Don't your climax to your movie shouldn't be narration. And so that was my biggest issue was the ships just started to slowly crash, and then
Right.
cut to a narration scene. So I like the beginning stuff where the ship landed and the way they crashed and everyone reacting to that. That was all really good. And also I thought that it took too long to get to the mass hysteria.
Right.
And it took too long for the guy to go, maybe we should use an atomic bomb.
In the 50s, were we not up on the fact that things coming from space were probably full of radioactive? Shocked about it. I mean, people are poking at it, and he's not warning people until he takes the Geiger counter and sees that it's radioactive. Well, no kidding. I thought we knew that.
I would assume. I would have assumed by then, but.
Huh. Yeah, kind of weird. I don't know. I how the radio thing went. Did they just read the book? Was this?
I don't know, and I don't think so. Obviously, it's an hour long teleplay. I think I'm going to listen to the radio play. I was going to do that before this, just didn't have time. I think I'm going to listen to that just because that's what sold me was everyone said, "Hey, remember that awesome play we did on the radio? Let's turn into a movie."
And now this is a TV show.
It is?
It is.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I was going through Prime and it said, War of the Worlds Season 1. And I think it said 2020. So, I didn't hate the Tom Cruise movie.
How would you compare them?
Really updated it.
How would you compare this to The Day of the Earth Stood Still?
Well, I like The Day of the Earth Stood Still. It's one of the slowest grinding movies.
Yeah.
But I still like it because, I don't know, it just builds in the right way for the right thing.
Do you think, because when I was watching it, do you think the movie would have been better had it been in black and white?
Well, yeah.
I agree. I think it would have been better. I don't know. I
did like that popping green on the ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it still would have been. Okay. It would have fit the time better. I like the movies to be.
Yeah, and I also thought it was too worldwide. I understand that they're doing a worldwide invasion, but I wish they would have just focused on that small town, had a smaller cast of characters. I wish it would have more of a teleplay feel to it than a big budget feel.
Too many people. Too much.
I mean, because
it could have been more like the Ant movie. What was the Ant movie? Alive or
Them?
Yeah.
Which we love. The movie's great.
Yeah. This was not. It's something I think everybody should watch because of its historical significance. I really can't believe that people were so panicked by this in the 50s when it came on the radio spot. I mean, they couldn't. It was the same as Psycho said why people of that era were completely wanting to take showers sometimes. To this day, some people that watch that, I don't get it.
Yeah, I thought the biggest thing was, and obviously what it won its awards for was the effects. I mean, they were fantastic.
Right.
But and they held up. They held up for what they were.
Yeah.
So I just and I don't know if this is accurate. It says this is on Wikipedia. Take it with a grain of salt. It says it was 2 million, and that its box office based on rentals was 2 million. So
There you go.
I mean, I would
So
assume,
what did it actually make back then before video rentals?
yeah, I would assume it did well. Yeah, it was the biggest science fiction hit that year, but again, science fiction movies at that time weren't even
Right.
they weren't quite money makers. I thought there was one really interesting bit of trivia I saw that I think should be noted. They had to stop filming for 4 days. Do you know why?
No.
In the middle of shooting this film, Paramount realized that the filming rights they had for making the movie were only for a silent version of,
All right.
and so they had to go get permission from the estate to actually make not silent version of the film because I think they had bought the
What is
rights.
that?
They bought the rights along in the 1918 or something like that. They bought they
That's
owned the
weird.
rights for a long time, and no one. I think I watched the video. They said they wanted DeMille to originally do the film, and it had kind of been it was in production hell for a long time. Switched a lot of directors, switched a lot of writers, and so yeah, I think when they bought the rights, it was because it was in a silent movie era.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
by the time they got around to it,
So they never made anything. This was the first rendition of
this was the first one. Obviously, the radio play, and then this was the first film.
Hmm.
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
And
just
now
thought
they've
that was
done another
interesting.
movie and a TV show.
Yeah,
So, all
and
right.
yeah, I don't get it.
I like the Time Machine better. If you're
I
going
don't
to do
like
H.G.
H.G. Wells.
Wells, he's not a favorite, but I would prefer the Time Machine to this.
I prefer Isaac Asimov. I'm gonna go classic science fiction, gentlemen. Give me Foundation and iRobot and some other stuff.
Yeah. You don't like iRobot.
I like a robot.
You don't like the premise of it.
Well, I like it because it
But
speaks to me.
it makes you feel uneasy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it touches a chord. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and go to our flying by, man. We're just lightning round on this.
Streamline, baby. Streamline.
That's right, baby. Total Recall out in 1990, which you said it was an 80s movie, but 1990.
Made in the 80s.
It had an 80s feel. R rating, 1 hour and 53-minute runtime, a 7.5 on IMDb, an 82 on the tomato meter, and a 78 on the audience score. Directed by Paul Verhoeven? I don't know how you say that.
Got me.
We know who it stars. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Arnold.
Sharon Stone, and the one and only Mike Ironside. Man that does. That man needs to be a man in some more movies. Love me some Michael Ironside.
I think he's dead now.
Is he?
I don't know. I have no idea. I killed him all for no reason.
No.
No.
Love Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
And it is a difficult movie to describe, but I guess the best way to say is Arnold goes to have memories implanted into his brain for like a fake vacation. Things happen, which we'll get into, and then he actually goes to Mars because that's where he wanted to get away, and they unlocked a subconscious plot, or he was actually his fantasy about being a secret agent on Mars and freeing all the people there. I will say I enjoyed this movie. I loved the practical effects in the film. All the eye popping and math, all that was great and cheesy. It felt like a mix between The Sixth Day, because that's an Arnold film about two different Arnolds
Right.
who are like a mix between The Sixth Day and Inception, and I don't know what the Fifth Element. Like it had,
Listen, man.
yeah, well, yeah, it had the look. It had like the look of the Fifth Element in a good way.
Okay.
But I just that era of special effects.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I liked the twist at the end.
Had you never seen it?
I realized through this movie, I was like, I've never seen this.
Ah, okay.
Um, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's an Arnold film. I'd rather watch The 6 Days.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh,